I need to go out with HAKE again. I honestly think that HAKE is like below speaking to be totally honest with you.
Knowledge is poison. In itself, it's disgusting and wrong. It's against nature.
Well, what's okay?
Exit only, man. Have some logic. So clear that up, right?
So maybe, well, not really.
This is kind of silly because people, if they were caught,
you're being female-minded right now. Come on.
No, hold on. Listen.
You're being female-minded.
Hold on, man. Yeah, all of us get evil into our hearts as we grow up, and as we get older, we get more and more corrupt. I think children and old people are naturally more non-sexual. They're just non-sexual. And the only non-immoral purpose for sex that I can think of is having children. When a man and a woman are rightfully married. It's in the Bible, in fact, that God killed a man for pulling out, if you will. And I heard it. It's quite gross. Sex, you'll notice, it weakens men. The great Mick, the trainer Mick, told Rocky one time, women weaken the legs. And that is so true. I think all athletes know this. There's no respect for men. The women are not respecting the men. And there's no actual love for women because sex is not love. And there's no love in the women either. And men are kind of looking for love in the women, and that's the wrong place. I believe that the Bible even condemns putting it where it doesn't belong, in the exit only area. And common sense, nature and nature's God says that's not right. But it should just, in reality, I think it should just be a minute and done. And it's because it's not love. Anything else, I think, is false idol worship, worshiping of the body, which is, it's encouraged right now to get women to get all this pleasure or whatever like that. I think that that's just demonic. I think it's possession, and I think it's passion. And I think that this consent thing is ridiculous. You'll notice that the liberals and the female-minded...
As so often seems to be the case, I'm left in the unfortunate position of not knowing whether or not I'm just surrounded by trolls, and I have no idea how seriously we're all taking this, but I'll try my best, you know, see what I can do. So I'll
my word on it. It is serious.
I'll try to address this as substantively as I can. So when we talk about ethics, depending on the ethical system that you subscribe to, you know, you are going to arrive at different conclusions about what is or is not moral. If you subscribe to a divine command theory, as I believe HAKE does, the idea that like what is good is in the Bible and that's the end of it, you know, I guess I would just be curious as to why HAKE's positions seem to be more orthodox than those of essentially every religious society on Earth. You know, the perspectives that he holds here are... maybe one or two of them you can find, like, commonly accepted in some of the more orthodox, like, say, Saudi Arabia or stuff, but all of them in tandem seem more like a caricature of what a secular person would create to make fun of religious people. I guess, like, to roll it back, though, like, you know, we say sex is for the purpose of procreation, and that's great and all, but I guess I kind of want to, and this is all I really care about, I want to work through the God in HAKE's mind. You know, God is everywhere, right? There's a little bit of him up there in your noggin. And I want to know, like, why is sex immoral? I want to understand this. So let's say that, like, sex is for procreation or whatever, okay? Explain to me, like, as a secular person, how on earth is not making women come making the world a better place? I want to know. I'm like, well, you didn't say you don't make women come. I think you said you don't want to do it for more than a minute. So I guess maybe you're very, very good, but, yeah, I guess I want to know. I want to understand that. Like, would that be the ticket you'd run on as a politician? Like, no more female orgasms? How do you roll with that one? That's the main thing that I want to know. We can work from there.
I think it's self-evident. I think even you know that sex is not really a toy to just flippantly use.
I have a pretty casual attitude about sex for the most part. I feel like most of what you say about sex being potentially dangerous could be applied to literacy as well. This is one of the reasons why the Catholic priests during the Middle Ages preached in Latin.
I do recognize that knowledge and women getting into education and even males getting into education can be, so-called education, can be poisonous. I have a T-shirt that says "Knowledge is poison."
Can we talk about anal sex then?
Sure. I think that it's pretty vulgar, and it's
well, so just to cut in,
Yeah.
This is a debate on sexual morality, and if Vaush wants to bring up different aspects of what he considers moral or immoral about sexual morality, that's fair table, whether you think it's vulgar or not. Hey,
in itself, it's disgusting and wrong. It's against nature.
Well, what's okay?
Exit
So
only, man. Have some logic.
well, okay, what about blowjobs? I mean, that's like, you know, that may not be an exit only hole, but it's definitely not one intended for reproduction.
Yeah, I don't think it's right. It's disgusting.
What do you mean by right? Okay, so disgusting. Like, you kiss people, right? Like, tell me you're okay with making out with women.
I think it should be avoided because that leads to other things. Unless you, I mean, I guess unless you're married, I guess.
Okay, so. Okay.
You shouldn't be just waltzing right into that type of temptation because it leads into other things.
But aren't all things temptation?
I think it's quite clear that people fall to temptation when they get to kissing like that. Watch it with the kissing stuff.
I don't want to succumb to the temptations.
So clear that up, right?
So maybe, well, not really.
As for kissing itself, I think that leads into temptation.
Do you think it would be better and like succumb to less temptation if we used artificial insemination instead of having sex? I mean, because we're talking about kissing right now, but like nutting in a pussy bear, that's a way, like whatever kissing is, that's like 20 times higher up on the whole like temptation to engage in the material pleasures of sex.
The gays are quite nasty. Nobody prevented gays from having so-called sex.
They were subjected to anti-sodomy laws and arrested and sterilized by the state.
Good, for their own good.
Well, that would be preventing them from having sex.
Well, I mean, that's not actual sex, but that's like, this is kind of silly because people, if they were caught...
You're being female-minded right now. Come on.
No, hold on, listen.
You're being female-minded.
Hold on, man.
Where
were we? What haven't I answered?
Oh, goodness, who knows? No, it doesn't matter what you have or haven't answered. It's all about the vibes, which is a very homosexual thing of me to say, I'm sorry to say.
Okay, 31-minute mark. HAKE, Vaush says under your moral values, it's almost monastic. I really can't help but agree in an extent. Don't you think you're going a little overboard with, you know, you can't go on a date and kiss a girl?
The temptation.
Like, aren't we getting into the purity spiral to the point of absurdity here?
No, I don't think so, because you can still hang out with a girl without kissing her. I think that the kissing, I think it's common knowledge that it leads to other things.
You said, you know, no making out with women, fine.
Right.
But I mean, if I want to make out with my wife and have a lot of sex,
at that point,
well, I want to know, why is that problematic specifically from a biblical sense?
I didn't say that it was wrong to be making out and having sex under marriage, but it is there are ways to like get too into that stuff. I
think that it's plenty healthy and biblically sound to bang your wife, man. I'm sorry. Like, why is that a problem? So just to pick on you a little bit more, HAKE, you said, I don't know what makes anal sex an evil, but HAKE, sodomy's referenced in the Bible as being immoral.
I wasn't thinking about the Bible in that term, because sometimes it's nice to point out logically. I mean...
Yeah, using a secular argument.
Yeah, I'm saying it's disgusting. It's like wrong. It doesn't even fit. Like
it could fit.
I'm saying I didn't mean it like that, man.
Oh no.
But you have felt used before, right, Vaush?
I'm pretty on top of my game right now. I don't feel very used right now. I mean, I don't know.
I'm talking about, have you ever?
Do we mean sexually, or do we mean like me being in middle school and my like classmates make me do the work for the group project? How?
Well, I mean, in the context of a so-called romantic type of a situation.
Not really. I've always been pretty direct and communicative with my emotional, romantic, and sexual partners.
This is from Willie Powell. Vaush, why do you confuse the reproductive system with the digestive system? You sound very confused. Good job at winning the debate. This is the super chat. Go ahead.
Willie Powell.
Yeah, so I guess, like, that person's kind of retarded, and I'm just happy to let them know so they don't need to get, like, a diagnosis. This isn't about confusion, and you know it's not. Like, don't pretend. It's about what makes my dick feel good. That's all I care about. If it makes my dick feel good and their asshole feel good, that's it. That's the end. Like, no, there's no confusion here. Like, are you aware that when she sucked your dick, that was actually the oral orifice and not indeed the well, thank you. Phenomenal. You're truly, you know, shining a light of introspection upon this event. Go get laid. It's just so weird. Like, who do you think you're owning? Christ.
This from Scion.
But you're the weird one.
For getting head? All right, well, you know, if that's that's the line.
Sorry.
Nice.
Vaush says same sex can't have sex. They do other things they incorrectly call sex. So he's saying that same-sex activity is not actually sex. It's just incorrectly called sex.
The thing that I think is really interesting from people who think this way is that their contributions to discussion betray how little they think about this. They're not interested in actually fleshing out ideas or concepts or moral arguments. Instead, they're, like, interested in assigning ideas to block moral definitions they have preset. It's like the ethical equivalent of, like, square peg takes square toy and round peg takes round toy. Where, like, well, that thing I don't like, so it's not sex. Why would you think I care whether or not it's sex? Do you think I care? Like, if I'm like fucking a guy in the ass, do you think, like, I'm thinking, like, yes, it is very morally meaningfully important to me that this be termed sex? But I don't. I don't. I guess the thing that I'm offended by here is the idea that you think on that level. Are you suddenly okay with anal sex if I just called it anal? Like, would that then insert it into a category that you would be acceptable with and we could all live and let live? Clearly not, right? This is just some tangential thing. But yeah, I don't know. It seems weird.
No, I think made by Jim Bob is a pretty deep guy. And I think you're being a little too dismissive. I think his point is that that there's nothing good or productive about this fake sex. Whereas with normal sex, it produces life and a family.
I have sex to make my
right
dick
context.
feel good, Hake, and in that respect, anal sex does a perfectly satisfactory job, I have to say.
Right, but that's not. There's nothing good about that.
That's what I'm going for. That's my good. It feels good. Didn't I just say that? It doesn't feel bad. It feels good.
Well, that's emptiness. I don't know what the. Anyway,
I leave them empty. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I want a world where people are as free as possible to pursue things that interest them so long as they don't hurt others. Now, keep in mind that people being free means that we have, like, the baseline access to resources and systems that allow us to express ourselves. So a free world is still a world where people maintain the roads, because otherwise you couldn't visit cool friends in other cities, you know? Like, something like that, but I want that on the greatest possible level. And by the way, I think that what I'm describing should be perfectly in line with Christian doctrine, because even if that means people would be making unchristlike decisions day to day, committing sin, anal sex, whatever, you know, people would have ultimate freedom to act on their will, and that would be the most effective determiner of whether or not a person deserves to enter the kingdom of heaven after their death. After all, is a man truly good if they never had been given a choice to do evil? If every second of their life they had been pushed and cajoled and coerced into doing good? Probably not. Maybe they're good by circumstance, but it's possible.
But Bosch, there's a logical hole here, right? Like, where do babies go then? Do they go to hell?
I don't know. I'm not religious.
Right? Like, I mean,
no. Don't get me.
What I mean?
Well, don't ask me to sort your systems out. Sure, they go to hell. I just think that as long as we have our time here on Earth, we should have the greatest possible, you know, ability to express ourselves. You know, the self-actualization. That's what I care about.
Vaush, do you have a poop fetish? Shoe on head has some explaining to do. I have no idea what the fuck that means.
I assume it's like an anal sex thing, which, I mean, I guess this is how I thought about anal when I was like 12 or whatever. But, you know, if you have enough good experiences, you put your biases aside. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've also fucked chicks when they're on their period. Like, does that mean I have a menstrual clot fetish? Like, I like sex. Like, you know, I'm living life. Living my best life. People act so weird about it, you know? But so much of the weirdness kind of reveals the underlying thought process, right? Like, so much of the anti-anal sex stuff, like, come on, it doesn't have anything to do with morals. You just think it's icky. If it was a moral thing, then your opinions on the cleanliness of the act would be absolutely irrelevant. Like, it would have nothing to do with the argument. But you and Hake both went with the, oh, well, it's gross thing, like pretty much right off the bat. So it's like, okay, so it's not ethical then. You just don't, and that's fine. I'm not forcing you to have anal sex. Be free.
I suspect Vaush suffers from emotional constipation that renders fixation with material consolidation of bodily selection.
What does this mean? Why all the jargon? I don't.
You have to listen closely.
Look, I don't. What does that mean? I can't even respond to it. Is this just me having sex? Is this just another haha you have sex thing?
Maybe your anger addicts you to the sex.
I'm feeling a pretty chill person.
Because
I don't feel like
I'm so much sex.
I don't feel like I'm sex addicted. I don't know. I drink more cups of coffee than I have sex. Sex is pretty cool though. Like it feels good. I don't think it ruins a person to have casual sex. I think that
So you could quit any time?
Having sex?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose
you said you don't think you're addicted.
Suppose I could. I mean, are you addicted to water? I don't know. We were literally made to fuck, so yeah, I don't know. I like having sex. You know, maybe I could, maybe I couldn't. I like doing it though. It's like, could you live without having a coffee every morning? Well, sure. I mean, I didn't have sex for 15 years of my life, and I didn't have coffee every morning for 22. But like now that I am, I think I'll keep it up.
What's wrong with taking the urges out with your wife if you're both enjoying it? This is true Orthodox teaching. There doesn't seem to be a problem here with this.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the question. So for
doesn't
HAKE
that contradict
again,
what HAKE was saying before? Because it seems like HAKE was like totally against any kind of non-reproductive sexual activity, even with even like between married people or whatever.
I mean, it's something you want to get over it for sure. I'm not contradicting myself. I'm granting for the weakness of the people who we cannot control ourselves, and so we do it at least under the umbrella.
I feel like
you assumed that I was being a Nazi about it or something.
Well, you don't have to assume. Okay, first of all, your Nazi predilections are nothing which need to be assumed.
Don't do it.
Second of all,
just don't.
No, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. You know, we're all just chilling. Whew. Yeah, I don't know. If the temptation of anal sex leads to more anal sex, I'll take that any day.